Here we go on our next big adventure for the fall of 2025. On this video, we're going to tell you about where we're going this fall.
Let's go!
We're Craig
And Lucinda. We retired early so we could travel the world looking for those new experiences.
and maybe we'll find the perfect place to snowbird to along the way. So,
Let's go!
Lucinda, why don't you tell everyone what's our plan for the fall of 25 travel?
Why don't I tell everyone that, Craig? For the fall of 2025, we are traveling to Southern Africa. But first...
Hey, wait!
Paris, baby! Can you see the whole thing? Yeah. We stopped here on our way to Southern Africa for about 5 days, and we're having lots of fun. You'll see more about that in another video. So we're traveling from Paris to Johannesburg. We'll head up to Kruger National Park, where we've got 4 different stops in different lodges. We're working our way from budget to not so budget. So we'll see the difference.
Then after we finish with those safaris, we're off to Victoria Falls, where we're going to see Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana.
That's right. And then from there we fly to Namibia, where we're going to rent a 4x4 camper truck and drive around the desert for 3 weeks. Namibia, interestingly enough, is the second least densely populated country on the earth, right after Mongolia. So we'll see what we can see. There's going to be beautiful. There's so much great stuff.
Then we got to return that truck all the way down to Cape Town, South Africa.
True wine country.
Yeah, wine country, where we're going to end up the trip there before we head home for a Christmas break.
That's right. We'll be home for Christmas, a little bit time, and then we'll head off on our winter trip. But you'll have to hear more about that later.
We've been getting lots of questions though about how do we pick where we're going to go next and how do we plan it. So let's get into that.
Let's go. Craig.
Yes.
Craig. What's the first thing we do when we plan a trip?
Come with me.
All right. Bucket list. Wow, that's a good one.
In all seriousness, yeah, we keep a bucket list.
We do. And every time we go someplace, the bucket list grows. Every time we check something off, about 10 more things go on it.
But how do we plan it? So about 2 years ahead of time is when we start looking at regions. And when we do that, we look at different parts of the world like Southeast Asia. Then we start investigating trends like climate and rainfall.
The events that are going on at the time.
Yeah, what time of year is best to go there.
Right.
So we look at that like 2 years ahead of time using tools like YouTube.
Yes, Craig spends a lot more time on the initial research than I do because he likes YouTube a lot more than I do to watch. No, don't say that.
Another thing we look at about a year or two ahead of time is we go on the Government of Canada website and we find out all the exit and entry requirements.
The vaccination requirements or recommendations.
And also the safety and security of these areas. It's a really good website to check out all
whether you're from Canada or not.
And these days with the visas changing for all these countries, it's changing quite often, especially with e-visas now and duration. So we look at that quite closely.
And lots of times you have to have those visas ahead of time before you even book the trip. So it's good to check that out.
We almost got screwed up in Vietnam.
Okay, we're done talking about Vietnam visas.
And then about a year ahead of time is when we get serious about what destination we're going to go to.
That's right.
Then we'll pick a place.
We see if it fits in our schedule to begin with, and then we pick a place. Right. Yep.
And then we start looking at airlines first. And the first thing we set is our bookends. Where we're going to go to first and where our last stop is so we can do the to and from flights.
We try to buy a year ahead of time because it's a lot cheaper then. That's the way we can afford to keep going.
And pick the seats we want on the plane.
That's right.
And then between a year and about 6 months ahead is when we do a deep dive of what we're actually going to do. We take a look at is there available hotels, what the flights are, or transport, or
what are the specific things we want to do. And yeah, the transport's a big one because sometimes that has to be booked ahead.
Yeah. So about a year to 6 months ahead is when we do a lot of those bookings.
Or the tours, if we want to do certain tours.
And we do all this while we're traveling.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
That's a bit of a challenge.
We do all of this ourselves. We are retired, so this is a big part of our retirement, keeping our brains active, but also it's way cheaper this way when we book it ourselves, and we get to do the things that we want on the schedule that we want to do it on. That being said, we do book certain tours because sometimes you have to go on a tour to a certain place, and also sometimes they just have it all set already. So in the winter trip that we're taking, 2026, we have a couple big tours booked on that, but you'll have to find out more about that later.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye. Okay. Oh, is it going?
Yeah.
So we do a lot of the booking and organizing and researching and all of that kind of stuff ourselves because we can. Because we can. Moulin Rouge.
For Canada, it's a travel website through Another thing we look at about a year or two ahead of time.
Try again. Essayons.